So I'm going to be showing you how I made my Toile version for Starlight. So this is just a mock-up costume where you can see what alterations need doing before you actually go on to making the final one. So I've got all of my scuba and power mesh cut out and basted together so it goes through the overlocker nicely. And I'll just show you the steps of putting it together. So start with your centre back panels. I've added a seam into mine just so it's sitting nicely against the body. And we're just going to peg them together so that it goes through the overlocker nicely. And then you just overlock that together. So once you got those back parts together, you want to just add the side panels next. So next, you're going to want to base your bias bindings into place and like all your other bits, just because when it's on the curve, it's a lot harder to just peg and do it well. Once the bias binding's on, add the gold panel into place and overlock it to attach it. You then want to finish your bias binding with a top stitch. After that, it's a matter of adding the bias binding around your hem and overlocking it to finish. Moving on to the front panel, you want to base into place your bias binding. The front panel is then attached to the side and overlocked together. Then I added a gold panel into the centre front that had a zip in it. The bias binding along the front is also finished with a nice top stitch, same as the other one. So I've got my bags with me today because I'll be travelling into London for my 12 fitting later on. I'll show you the rest of the process of putting the costume together ready for that fitting, so I'm taking you with me. Usually when I'm travelling, I try to take this time to update all my documentation that I have to do for uni and just keep on top of just everyday things. Once I get to uni, I start by adding the bias binding along the outer edge. Then once that's overlocked, I slide an elastic through the channel I've just made. Using a simple zigzag stitch, I just catch the elastic to the fabric. Once that's done, it's time to just add the collar onto the garment. I decided to use a hand stitch for this, just because I needed to take the zip out to reuse for the actual costume. And the final thing to get ready for this fit-in was my boot covers. These were just made out of calico and were just put together with a simple straight stitch on either side. So the fitting went well. There was only a couple of things to change on my patterns. The main parts were to reduce the waist all around by 5 centimeters at the back and 3.3 centimeters at the front, as well as changing the gold panel and pulling the crotch up by about 2 centimeters. All these alterations were added to my patterns. And here are all my final patterns that I'm going to be using to make the actual costume. Then it's time to wrap up for today. So I just got back home. If you want to watch my previous projects, there'll be a video here, and if you want to stick around for more content on my whole Starlight project, then be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.